Hello there, who's ready for an opinion video? Because I sure am. No? Yes? Maybe? Alright, my name is JustJarrod, but you can just call me Jared. Let's talk about Destiny 2 for a bit. Destiny 2 is a looter shooter. You shoot bad guys, or good guys if you're in a Crucible, although they're still technically bad guys in the moment, but they're still guardians. Anyway, you get what I mean. You shoot enemies, you get loot, looter, shooter. That's established even though it didn't have to be. So, what makes loot games fun? Well, that would be the loot. I would argue that if there was no loot in Destiny, nobody would play it because it would be an empty experience because the story isn't good enough yet. At least it's not good enough to carry the entire game on its shoulders. Destiny fans play for the loot. I play Destiny for the loot. Almost every game I play is for the loot. Loot controls my gaming addiction, but I have a problem with Destiny's loot right now. It's becoming more and more of a stats and numbers chase rather than a loot chase, which I'm sure some people might be into, but why can't we have the best of both worlds? This video is about loot rarity and the loot rarities in Destiny. The reason loot is so addictive is because of rarity. You play and hack and slash and shoot and loot over and over again because you want to see that awesome epic drop, that beam of light in Diablo, that blast of a bright color signifying that you have finally slain enough monsters and rolled lucky sevens to get something super legendary. This is the case in basically every loot game. You want the rarest items. That luck factor is what a lot of people love. Anyone remember the days of Destiny 1 and before Destiny 2 released, when people were tired of random rolls? Tired of hoping that finally, after 90 hours of farming the Undying Mind in D1, that they would be blessed with a God Roll Imago loop. I remember when random rolls on weapons was a complaint. People wanted static rolls on loot, so each drop would be the same for everybody. Now, this wasn't everyone's opinion, but there were a lot who were vocal about it, and so D2 had static rolls and everyone hated it. So after a year, random rolls returned, kind of. Thus is the Destiny community. Why do I bring this up? To remind whoever is watching that Bungie, no matter how hard they try, will never be able to please everyone. If you want a more recent example, just look at the pinnacle power argument going on right now. First, power is too hard to achieve and too much up to luck. Then Bungie adjusts it, and now it's too easy so it doesn't come across as a crazy goal to top tier players because everyone can get there, and all Bungie did was change a 1 to a 2. It's a teeter-totter that will never stop teetering and tottering. Same goes for the loot. So I understand that when I make my argument that's coming up, it's borderline impossible for Bungie to make me happy or the community happy because everyone wants something different out of this franchise. But I still want to bring it up because just maybe there's hope for the loot in Destiny, and I want to see how my opinions relate to yours. So if you do agree with anything I'm about to say, or disagree, let me know down in the comments. Share this with your friends. I honestly want to know what everyone thinks. Let us begin. How many rarities are in Destiny? 5. 5, right? How come we only see 3, and one of them is an instant dismantle for materials? White and green rarities are in the game, but anyone who's played more than 5 hours of the game doesn't see them. I haven't seen them in years. They might as well not exist. What do we end up with? A loot-based game with only 3 rarities. Scratch that, because no one is equipping blues. 2 loot rarities. You have legendary and exotic. Nothing else matters or even come close to mattering. If blues just automatically dismantled into materials, I wouldn't care. I don't think anyone would care because it's become a habit to just dismantle every single one I pick up. Now, do I think white, green, and blue rarities need to matter? No, I don't. I think Destiny is way too far along to backtrack that far. That would take a reboot, maybe in Destiny 3. The gear rarity climb is non-existent. I think that has to do with the shortness of the main Destiny game at launch and the main Destiny 2 game at launch. There simply wasn't enough content for Bungie to widen the amount of time before you start to see the next rarity dropping. If Destiny 3 is much larger at launch, I say make greens and blues more customizable and more personalizable. Give them a bit more character so they differ a bit from each other. Increase the number of different greens and blues, widen the length between obtaining the next tier of rarity, make legendaries actually legendary and mean something when you get them versus how they are now. Some are too good, some are okay, and most are basically trash compared to the okay and too good ones. Doesn't it seem off when you're getting legendary gear from literally everything in Destiny? Doesn't really make them that legendary anymore. Legendaries are common, you say? What? Exactly. Continuing on. Make the legendaries have 1 or 2 more customizable perks than the blues, allow shaders to be equipped to them, whatever. Then exotics you can really blow people's minds with and make them ultra rare, like super duper rare, because they should be. The rarest items in the game, the highest tier of rarity, should be rare, should be exciting, and should be worth the wait. Thus, bringing me to my main topic. All that before now is just other thoughts in my head, sorry I was rambling kinda, but it all pertains to the same point I'm trying to make here. Exotics. I don't care about getting exotics to drop in Destiny 2. They aren't exciting enough because, wait for it, they aren't rare enough. They're not exotic enough. They need to live up to their title. If you're a veteran Destiny player, you pretty much have all the exotics. Even if you don't do raids, you pretty much have every exotic in the game. If you only run one class, it's even easier. And don't worry, because if you don't like playing as a Titan, you can still log on every week when Xur is around and buy an exotic engram for a guaranteed exotic drop that you don't have, and purchase the Titan class specific one that he's selling that week. 2 new exotics a week for a character you never use. Sure, why not? Exotics are totally rare. Exotics don't even drop as pinnacle power. If your power level is 970 and you get an exotic to drop in the midst of your shooting and looting, well, it's not going to help you at all, because it's going to drop at 950 power. That's right, the items that should be the rarest in the game, the best in the game, the topmost tier in the game, isn't going to power you up at all. You're welcome. And why doesn't Bungie make them pinnacle drops? Why don't they increase your power? The answer is simple, because they are too common. You get too many of them too frequently, thus why they aren't exciting, why veteran players have all of them, and why I couldn't care less about getting them. The further down the line in the Destiny 2 lifespan we get, the worse this problem becomes. The launch of Destiny 2 was terrible in many people's opinions, but at least there were tons of exotics to get and to look forward to, as expected since it was the launch of the game. Still, most of those exotics dropped randomly. That's the key. Random. If it's random, then it's rarer, then it's more sought after, even if the exotic isn't that good. It's the addiction cycle that is in every loot-based game, the want to get something super rare that not a lot of people have. We know this now because of the whole random roll fiasco that players said they didn't want only until they didn't have them, then they wanted them back because it made items exciting because of the rare chance they'd be god rolls. Months go by after the launch of Destiny 2. People are collecting all the exotics. Things are great besides basically the rest of the game being trash. Anyways, not the point. Exotics were exciting. That's the point. Flash forward to Forsaken, the 3rd expansion. We've gone through 2 other DLCs at this point. What did we get more of? Sure, we got some exotics that randomly drop, but this was the true beginning of quest exotics. Exotics you get from doing quests. Sounds okay, people have been asking for these, sure, why not, right? Wrong. I don't have an issue with quest exotics if they're actual quests with storylines that make it a quest. There are too many examples of exotic quests that are just, hey, you, go kill those guys with this gun. What? Why? Because. Oh, and also you need to kill like 500 of them. But wouldn't I just do that regularly while playing? Yeah, but you need to use this gun. See the difference? I guess. Exactly. And if you do this, I'll give you one of the supposed rarest items in the game that you can only get from doing this specific quest that's going to be super epic and not totally a chore, I promise. Anyways, there's way too many of those. Also, now that Shadowkeep and the new season reward system is upon us, you get a free exotic just from owning the current season. Yay, hard work really pays off. It's the Cold Heart situation all over again. Pre-order Destiny 2 and you'll get Cold Heart, an exotic, right in the beginning of the game. Before even playing it for 2 seconds, you'll have a gun of the highest and most sought after rarity. We promise they are super rare. Leviathan's Breath is the most recent example of this exotic quest problem. The steps are: kill guys with a bow, do activities with a bow, do a strike that you've done 1,000 times but this time it's barely different, exotic heavy bow, the only one of its kind, just for you because you worked so hard to get it. I'd rather it be a random exotic drop. That way it's actually rare, you need to be lucky to get it. The more exotics that are acquired via random drops, the more exciting every random exotic drop becomes, because before you pick it up, you know it very well could be that piece of loot you've been waiting for. That new exotic that only a few people have gotten their hands on. Versus the Leviathan's Breath quest being out for only 3 hours and 80% of the player base having it because, let's be honest, it was just handed to us on a silver platter, with the only obstacle being the fact that we had to reach out our hands to take it. The only thing that's keeping exotic armor somewhat exciting, not for me. For me, I literally walk over them like a blue and I'm just like, cool, I already have that, and continue on my merry way. But the stat chasers and super hardcore build creators are watching the new total stat number that drops with each armor piece. The higher the total stat number is, the better. If you get a 65 total stat on your Celestial Nighthawk, then you can dismantle your 64 total stat one. Woo. This concludes my argument. Never mind. There's one more crazy example I have to remind everyone about. Shadowkeep, one of the big expansions to Destiny 2, gave each class one new exotic armor piece to chase. Just one. And once you complete the Shadowkeep campaign, which is not hard at all, you are given them. Given them. For free. Okay? A whole expansion, a whole 3-month long season with no exotic armor to chase. But this is a loot-based game, guys. Don't forget that. Don't forget it. Okay, now I'm done. Honestly, I think it's way too late for Bungie to really do anything about this. I don't think enough people are talking about this, and I don't think there's enough time to correct this or even a reason to, since Destiny 3 is surely in the works by now. This is just my opinion, and I just wanted to share it, see how other people felt about it. I think the easiest way they can fix something like this, make loot exciting again, make something rare again for Destiny 3, is to add another rarity. Either a rarity after legendary and before exotic, or a rarity higher than exotic. Like use red as mythic rarity or something, or use black for a new rarity.
If you had to develop a new rarity for gear, what color would it be?
Black.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like I said before, lengthen the time between getting the next rarity to drop to help with rarity progression. We need something other than 2 rarities for an entire game. That's nuts for a game where the main progression is loot. That does it for me. Subscribe for Destiny loot news and other opinion videos like this. Once again, let me know what you think about all this. I'm pretty curious. I can't be the only one with this opinion, right? Until next time, have a fantastic day, night, afternoon. Peace out.